Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Diane Fago and I am a collage artist. I teach collage art, I teach collage journaling, junk journaling, art journaling, mixed media, and things like that. And today I am going to share with you my making the cover of my brand new collage journal. And this is kind of part two. It's kind of the middle of the video that I shared yesterday where I was working on covering the back of my collage journal that I had just recently finished. And as I was working on covering the back of that journal, I started placing an image to the side, and just as an example to show you kind of where my train of thought was going, while I was doing that, it turned into me actually creating this for the cover of my new journal. So this is, it's a long one, and actually that turned into almost a whole day of just working on those things. So I hope that you enjoy this. It is for sure this is my process on how something just kind of starts building out of nowhere and turns into a page. This is all of it. I didn't cut anything out. It's all real time, and it is kind of long, so I appreciate it if you just stick with me and watch the whole thing. Get yourself a journal out, get something that you can work on, and sit with me and watch me as I create the cover to my new journal. And if you're new here, welcome. I am so very glad to have you here. I hope that you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and be sure to push the bell so that you'll get notifications. And I will post a link down in the comment section and also put a tag up here for where I was working on the backs of the other journal, because that one kind of in the middle of working in that, I literally started working in this, and so that one just kind of stops. And then I worked on this, I cut all that out, put this into its own video because it was so long, and then in the other video carried on to finishing that. So it's a little confusing, but I just did not want to share with you a 4-hour video of me working on all of those things. But if you have any questions, please ask, and I hope that you are all doing well. And sit back and relax and watch as I create the page to my new collage journal. Are you ready? We're gonna do it. Okay, so I went and had some lunch and been coming by here every now and then and looking at these and just kind of thinking about it, and I still think I'm drawn to that one the most. With this one, I think because this just kind of feels finished. It's a completely finished image. With this, my brain wants to add on to this. Like I want to create a page out of this. With this one, it feels done. Done enough to be on the back cover, I guess is what I'm trying to say. With this, like, I see like something on here. I've got, let's play for a second. I know I've got a girl in here that I think she was leaning against something. Got this catalog here. So like her. If this was the other way, I could have her leaning against that book, but actually that's kind of cool how her hand follows along with, I think that's part of a watch face actually, which, you know, that might actually be kind of cool to put a watch there. Let's see, I've got, this is another reason why I like having these tubs, and I mentioned these in the last video where I finished that page that didn't feel finished and I talked about these more in depth, but this is another reason why it's kind of nice to have some of these cut out, because
when inspiration strikes like this, that's not going to show enough of it though, but maybe it's kind of weird tilted. Something. I was gonna say that this is why this one feels like it needs to be something else, not just stuck on the back of this journal. See, and I've got some just to play and to see. This isn't what I would use necessarily, but honestly, you know what? I kind of wonder if this might work for... I wasn't prepared to do this right now, but it's been on my mind as what I was going to work on next. I wonder if this would work. I wonder if I'm accidentally creating the cover to my next journal, because that was what I was going to do after covering the back of this one. I was going to start going through my drawer. Oh, I was going to start going through my drawer that I have of images of people and see if I could start putting together something for a new cover. And I wonder if this is happening right now. I do have my journal. I'm having a excuse me for this cutting in and out a lot. If I am really struggling today with my cough and whatnot, left over from being sick for so long. But I wonder if I might be making my new journal cover right now. The other ones both had this ledger paper on the back. To start with, I don't know if I should, well, you know what? I can do whatever I want. It's my journal. I don't have to do that exactly the same. This is actually not big enough, so if I really, really, really felt just really like I had to have some of that journal, some of that ledger paper sticking through, I could have that at the top and the bottom. That way it's there a little bit if I want them all to kind of coordinate together. I need to take that off of there. That's causing some problems. Well, well, well. How about that? I know that... Well, let's see. Of course, I have to give her some wings. Don't know if I've got a partial one in here. Just kind of looking for something that I can use just to kind of see. I wonder, I'm hesitant about putting, I would maybe give her a crown. I don't know if I have any rings cut out. Actually, I think I do. Excuse me. Here's a crown that's already like, I don't know if I will use that one. But I'm just like laying stuff out here just to kind of like look and see if, here's a big fancy one. This is kind of large. That is too big. What do we got here? Cut this one out real quick. I was just working on editing the video for the collage journal flip, which of course has already been posted. But since I've been home on these snow days, I've been trying to take advantage of my time at home and get some videos filmed because I've been wanting to work on stuff. And so as I've been hopping from project to project, I've been turning the camera on, but in the background I'm still editing some of the previous ones. But I'm so excited to share that one with you all of my journal. I'm so happy and proud of that journal. Okay, well, there's that. What's that? That can't really go anywhere. I think what I was trying to say earlier, before I got all distracted with putting this together, I'm concerned about putting on some of these delicate florals because this journal does kind of take a beating as I'm working on it. I do take it with me places to work in. I do put it in my bag, in my tote bag, and I don't, I don't cover it or anything when I'm transporting it to places, and it gets kind of beat up. So this is my first one, and the covers, the magazine, the image is getting worn off. It's got a place where it's just torn. This one's in a lot worse shape because I did really take this one out places with me. You can see where it's just worn and wrinkled, and it's been through it. It's kind of coming apart a little bit up there. I should probably glue that down. So I'm afraid that if I use any of those anything like this, I don't know how well it will survive life being transported back and forth and everywhere. But then again, I've been using them so much, I'm kind of really wanting to add something there. This is a bit different because it's using pictures of real flowers along with pictures of drawn flowers. Oh, which I just remembered another one of the bins that I have of paper, because I was just thinking about it. I was like, okay, where's my ledger paper? One of the drawers that I have is just old paper and music paper and things like that. I'm going to grab a piece. Alright, so here's a piece of this ledger paper, and I know that I don't want to cut off the top and the bottom. Let's see. want to make sure that I cut this on the edge that's actually really straight. Because one of these is the cut edge. One of these is what I cut from the magazine. I think it's this side. Because I don't want this to be not square. And there's a little bit of writing up here. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off since there's really nothing up here. Which I don't know if you saw, but this image came from a 2016 issue of Bella Grace magazine. So that's how long I've been collecting those magazines. Actually, since they first came out. I haven't bought any for a long time, but because I still have so many, but I would love to buy one, but I just haven't done it. I use the images from it so much that it's totally worth every penny that I spend on those magazines. And I collected them and treasured them for many years. And they just sat and collected dust underneath my coffee table for a really, really long time. And I finally told myself, it's like, you know, I love the images in these magazines, but they're sitting here hidden, closed on my bookshelf, you know, on my coffee table on the bookshelf, and it's like, that is ridiculous. I love the images. I need to use them. And so I started cutting them up, and I never went back. It was the best decision I ever made, because I wasn't getting any joy from the magazine by having it just sit there closed, but the things and the pages and things that I've been able to create with the images from it in my journals have meant so much to me. Sorry, I didn't realize I was out of view. That it's worth every penny that I spent on the magazine. Every now and then I can find them. Very rarely I can find them at our used bookstore, at Half Price Bookstore. I found a couple one year and was thrilled. But with the amount of images that I get from it, for me it's worth it, because I use almost every single one of them. Look at that. I can't believe that this has kind of come together like this. Well, everybody, I think we might have just made the cover to my new journal. Completely unplanned and on the fly. If I really, really want some of that ledger paper, that's where it's going to have to go, is in the background like that. Which I can adjust this so that I get what I want. I don't know if you can see that. The date's 1975, January 15th. And today's January 9th, so how about that? Alright, the other option if I didn't use this, is to put a strip of paper across the top or the bottom. Or I could use washi tape, because this is not long enough to cover. I've got this basket that's full of just strips of magazines that I've cut off here and there. So like, I could put something like this on the bottom. If I really wanted to, I could move her down a little bit so that that's... Well, All right, so now all I need to think about, and I'm not going to rush that. Well, you know, who knows? Since this happened the way that it did, I was going to say I feel like I want some time on finding what to put on the front, which once again, I don't have to. It's just what I've always done with the previous two. I've had some sort of found word on the front, like I have here. And I've got some in a basket that I had clipped out that I didn't want to lose. I'm going to grab that. We'll see what's in here. Now it says that would actually maybe work. Or this one's has, well, aluminum. Let's see what else we got here. This would be good. The stories begin here. That would be nice. This is good. My words, my time. This would really work since I've got the clock here. Or I could do both. I could do it like that. Yeah, I'm really excited. I have been kind of I like that. I've been kind of stressing quietly to myself about what I was going to put on the front. And I think that we just did it just like that. So I'm glad that I listened to that little nudge for the ideas for this and didn't just like ignore them. Keep working on what I was originally trying to work on, which was the back. The whole purpose of this video was to do the back, and I think I've spent more time working on the unplanned front of the new one than I have on the back of the newly completed one. Kind of want to cover that up. Just going to move things around a bit because I'm not sure. I could cut this apart. Also, this does not have to stay together. That helped a lot. Well, there's... Okay. Well, how about that? So now the question is, do I like these wings or do I want to find something else? Those kind of work. They're already done. I'm not sure if I've got any in here. Those are pretty. I want something that's bigger. Let's see. And if I use these, I will trim them. I'll cut it in half so that if I need to, I can spread them apart farther. That kind of adds a nice pop of color. It brings out some of the stuff on her dress. I think I do like having the blue. They stand out a bit more than this one does. I'm going to grab my butterfly book here real quick and see if I can find something just a little bit different, because I don't know about those. Also, not sure if I've got a little part of a rose. Here's a little part of a rose. See if I can. That's even got a little bit of a bud there. I don't know if that'll work or not. I think it will. That might look weird. Yeah, I'm going to cut it off. There's that. There's that right there. Where are my tweezers? This is when tweezers are really handy. And this is why I save all these little parts of flowers and leaves. It's because they're perfect for stuff like this. See? Just covered those words up just like that. With a little piece of flower that could have easily just been tossed in the trash. Okay, I'm going to grab my butterfly book. Let's see. I'll show you the cover here in a second. I need to move this. I don't want to lay the book down on top of this and possibly lose a piece of what we've got going on. So here's the book. And I did get this at our half-price bookstore, so I got it used. I don't know how much it costs new, but it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful book that's just full of all these beautiful butterfly images. That's really neat. Look at the tails on that. Fancy, fancy. This yellow one's really pretty. That might, I don't know, I think I kind of like the idea of a blue one there. This also has moss in it, which I'm sure it says that on the front. Let's see. Ooh. Look at that. one's pretty. It's got some purple in it. I kind of feel like the fancy ones might be too much since her dress has got a lot of embroidery on it. Okay. Well, I like this one, but I don't like how it's darker at the bottom. I don't know if, yeah, I don't feel like altering that right now. Maybe I should just use what I've got. I'm gonna cut this one out. And when I cut these out, I usually try to kind of pay attention to what's going on in the back side. I think all this one's gonna be gone. Sometimes there might be part of a wing that you can salvage on the other side, but I think this one's pretty much got the whole thing. All right, cut him out really quick. And since I'm cutting it in half, I don't have to worry about any of that business in the middle about the body. I kind of wonder if this isn't the shade of blue that I'm wanting though. This is more purple, more of a lavender type hue. But that's okay. If I cut this out and I don't use it, then I'll put it in my basket and it'll be ready to maybe get put on a different page. I like how there's white along the edge of this one, so it'll kind of help the wings kind of pop off from the page a little bit, make it more obvious. Okay, let's try these. That ring, isn't that silly? It just wants to totally flip over every single time I do anything with her. There. Well, I like the color of these better, but I like these wings a little bit better. This one, that one's a no. Put that in the basket. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one in half. This one's a maybe. I guess if I wanted to, I could do one of each. These match her dress better. There's a little blue right there, and it really pops out. Yeah, I think I like those better. I like how these are shaped better, but I like the color of that one better. It's more vivid, and this one just is a little bit too muted. So that's, you see the blue there on her dress? It's kind of scattered throughout the dress. And even just this part of her wings matches what's going on in there. So actually these are probably the best for her. I mean, she looks great, so her wings need to match her outfit and everything. All right, well, I I think even these roses that I've got here are okay. I was trying to decide if I wanted to change those, since I just kind of stuck them back there because that's what I had cut out in my basket here. No, I don't want to use yellow. Let's see if there's a rose. I thought I had a big piece of white one in here, but I must have finally used it. Here's part of a white one. These might look kind of cool in there. I wonder if I should cut this out. Now it's getting kind of busy, but let's see what happens here. God, this one's not connected. This was the cover of a magazine, probably Better Homes and Gardens. I only remember that because I remember cutting it out. And that's why it's just kind of this weird partial bit of the flowers, because all of the cover and text and whatnot I was having to cut around that. I think I heard a drip. Just 1 second. I gotta check something real quick. Okay, I did. I thought I heard something stirring around in my bathroom. Well, I'm home again today. This is my second snow day. So yesterday we had a snow day, and surprisingly so, I can't believe it. We ended up getting snow. It snowed all night, so pretty much snowed all day and all night yesterday. It was so warm though that a lot of it didn't stick, but then the temperatures just like totally dropped overnight, and that's when it finally started accumulating. So we had, I think, 4 inches or so here, but I couldn't believe it. They went ahead last night and canceled school for today, so we had another snow day today, which was awesome, and I've been really making my use out of that time. I think this is the 3rd video I've recorded today, and I'm editing the journal flip, which I recorded yesterday, and I feel like I recorded another video yesterday also. I finished the page that didn't feel like it was finished. So anyways, woke up this morning, went to the bathroom, went to wash my hands, and I had no water. So I waited for a little bit, and luckily I have a water filter, a pure, one of those water container things to put in your fridge to do filtered water. So luckily I had that full of water, so I was able to make my coffee this morning, thank goodness. And, I had water to drink. Went ahead and called the apartment manager just to make sure that it wasn't just me who didn't have water, and sure enough, the water main had broke during the night. And this is actually the 2nd time that it's happened. So it happened a month or so ago. It broke and we didn't have water all day. And so after that experience, I had gone to Target and gotten a few gallon bottles of water to have just in case. So luckily I didn't have to get into any of that today, but it's funny how much you actually use water here and there throughout the day that you don't think about. So I had a big bowl of curry earlier for lunch, and just walked over to rinse my bowl and tried to turn on the water, and it's like, oh, I forgot, I don't have any water. But I have water now, so which, you know, is a bummer, but I just kept telling myself I would much rather, like, not have water right now than from the storm or whatever. I don't know if it's because pipes froze or what, or if they didn't get it repaired good the last time, but I would much rather not have any water than to wake up and not have electricity. So, because it's cold outside right now. It's 22 is what my watch says. Yeah, it's 22. So, oh, thank goodness I've got water. Which is perfect timing because I'm getting really, like, ready for my afternoon coffee. It's almost 2. So, let's see. Let's see what to do. And I don't know if I'm going to use these or not. Having this blue tulip on here also might just be a little bit too much, but then again it might kind of add that little bit of, just that little bit of something that makes it pretty. Well, got a white. Kind of feel like I don't want her to go below that. I don't know if that's the best option. Kind of like the way the brown looks behind it. I got a lot going on here. I wonder if I should. Got a whole lot of stuff going on. This was just like, let's throw everything on this. Might be overdoing it a little bit. I should just go ahead and glue that on her. I know that I want her to wear, her hand is on that. When I'm editing my videos, I'm always surprised at how well I can hear my heater come on in the background. That's what that is. That's a little bit. Well, what do we think? See, now the other option is to just do it on this. Then that keeps in line with all the other, not all the other, well, with my other two journals that are on this same type of paper. So I could do something like this, which then she really stands out as opposed to being on that. So it was almost kind of like this just helped inspire. I was trying to give her something to stand on here. How did I have this? This is too wide, so I need to keep that in mind as I'm fiddling with things on here. I think I dropped her ring off of her head. Uh-oh. Well, yep, I did. Oh, I think it stuck to my sweater. Hmm. Well, what to do, what to do, what to do. that would snag. I guess the big question is, well, there's two questions. Do I this isn't gonna work. All right, let's see. I need to think a bit. I need to sit and just kind of, I need to stop and I need to let this sit and just kind of marinate for a little bit and see what I think about it. So, because I'm not going to push this at all. And that's where I feel myself kind of heading. And I don't want to do that, because if I do that, then I'm going to end up doing something that I don't like. And then I won't be happy with it. And this is my journal. And, you know, I want it to be how it needs to be. So, all right, I'm going to pause for a bit and I'll be back. I'm just going to kind of let this sit for a while. Okay, so I am back and it's actually evening time now. It's 8:14 at night and I ended up taking off the blue tulips. That was too much. Decided to place everything just directly on here, so got rid of the background completely. And this is where I'm at right now. And I think what I need now are some leaves or something. And so this is another time when my little baskets here are perfect, because that's what I have in here are parts and pieces of leaves, because I don't necessarily need a whole leaf. I just need some ones that I can cut out and tuck, you know, back behind some of these flowers. I need some green. I need some greenery on here. And let's see what else I got. This is perfect. Doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, a rose leaf. There are several that I can use that will work, that I can cut to make work. And what's this? Let's see if I can tuck that in over there. What's this? This is kind of fun. I don't know if that... Let's cut that out really quick. And I know I said this earlier, but I don't want to rush this or push this. And even though this kind of just like seemed to start falling into place, and I was really excited there at the beginning how everything was kind of working out, I can tell that I could start to tell that I was just kind of trying to make things work, and I was trying to start to push it, and that is why I stopped and took a break and actually just kind of completely walked away from doing anything art related whatsoever. I have been past 2 days straight in here in my space working, and before then I've been doing more also since I got those pages done, and I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to risk burning myself out already now that I finally started creating again. And there's also no rush for me to get this done, so I need to take it slow. I don't know if that'll work at all. That's just kind of neat. I just kind of liked it anyways, but I don't think that's going to work on here. Unless it's tucked back up in here, maybe. What I need to do before I forget is I need to trim this paper because this is too big, and I know it's too big. I know it's quite wide. Oops. You know, it's about 1 inch too wide and a couple almost, well, and for sure 1 inch too long. So I need to make sure that I trim it before I do anything else, because I cannot, that would be bad if I got this all on here how I liked it and then went to go put this on my journal only to find out that I'd forgotten to trim it and that was too big. So I don't know if these are going to work under here, but see if I can tuck this under. These leaves here are from one of the last pages that I just did, I think. Yeah, see, it needed some green. Sometimes you just need some green. This one here is missing its point, but that's okay because I can trim it and give it a new one. Just like that. No one will ever know that that was not a perfect leaf. I'm just going to cut that. Went through all that trouble to cut that out perfectly, and I don't need I think I can actually kind of stick those together. I've got two parts there. The center of that was missing from what had been cut out on the other side, but if I really wanted to, I could grab some glue and kind of build a little flower here, I think. I mean a leaf with these pieces. I'm kind of silly like that and not wasting anything. I know it. There, I just made a new leaf. Okay. Oops. I think I'm probably going to wait until tomorrow to glue everything down, since I have been kind of doing so much today. I am needing a little bit of a break. And gluing down a bunch of stuff can be quite a bit. Well, it is. It can be quite a bit of work, and whenever I've got lots that I'm gluing down, I usually try to wait till I'm not tired. But I think if I get just the bases, how I want it, then tomorrow it'll be easy peasy for me just to glue everything down. I'm liking this a whole lot better than how we had started, and I'm glad that I decided to move it over there. I just could not break away from not having it kind of match the other two. So now they're all on this ledger paper, and I am going to cut it, trim it starting up here, because I want all of that up there. So I'll take the extra off, most of the extra off on the bottom. But I think this might be it. I think I might have it where I want it. Adding that green really made a big difference. I don't know if I want to add any more or if this is fine. I think this is probably more than plenty, but just putting those leaves on there really gave it that little bit of something that it needed. And I'm really happy with this. Really, really happy. If I wanted to, I could tuck a little leaf right there. See if I was going to say, let me see if I can find a little piece of one, and which is ridiculous because obviously I've got more than just little pieces. I've got little baskets just overflowing with pieces. That's pretty. That's going to be running off. Actually, kind of like that. That's getting close to the edge. That kind of, with that little bit of ivy stuff at the top and bottom, that's kind of neat. All right. I know I saw just like a little bitty. Here, this will work. See that right there? All I need is that little bit, 'cause I just want a little tiny bit of green coming out behind that pink flower there. And then the next thing that I'll do, just in case, well, not even just in case, just because, that's what I like to do. The next thing I'm going to do is take a picture. There we go. Let's take a picture of this so that I know how I have it, and whenever I go to start working on this and start putting it together, I'll have a visual reference, visual guide for how I had it. Because a lot of times in the past, I would go in and get ready, I'd have everything laid out like this, and then I would get ready to start gluing, and I'd take it all apart, and for the life of me, I could never remember exactly how I had put it together. And sometimes that was okay, but a lot of times that was a real bummer because, you know, I had it exactly how I wanted it, and I couldn't remember how to do it. So there we go. There's that. I'm going to move that out of the way. The other thing that I did, very carefully move this over to my other space. I'm really happy with that. Really happy. Alright, so I'm back. This is actually Friday now, the 12th. I had to go back to see what day I had left. I had stopped on this, and that was Tuesday, so on the 9th. So when I last left you off, it was Tuesday the 9th, and now it is Friday the 12th. So I have let this sit that long amount of time. I probably didn't mean for it to sit that long, but well, let's see. So Monday, and I was supposed to go back to work on Monday after being on Christmas break for 2 weeks, and we didn't have school on Monday. It was a snow day. We didn't have school on Tuesday. It was a snow day, and that's when I did this and a bunch of other things. So I went back to work Wednesday and Thursday to my full-time day job and my night job, which I work, well, three hours in the evening so I did that on Wednesday and Thursday, and now here we are on Friday, and it's another snow day. So that's awesome because then I don't work, so I have today off. So here I am. I'm gonna get this glued down together. I had to go back and look also at the video, the last one that I did, just to kind of see where I left off, and I thought that I had pretty much decided to do this, to have it like this, and I had. So it's kind of disheveled from being moved around here and there during the past few days, because I did end up, and since I wasn't working on this, because by the time I got home in the evening, I was just tired and did not feel like working on gluing anything down. So last night I actually sat and cut out some more flowers out of the one book that I had showed you previously. So I did that. So I got some of those done. So these are fun. And I probably shouldn't do this. Let's go on. This is yeah. So I think I'm ready to start gluing this one down. I just, this one kind of pulled out, and let's see what is going on. This is how it is. It's, well, alright, there we go. I just can't keep myself from trying to see if something else works on here. It's just, I can't control myself. So I gotta see if it is gonna work. I need to trim this paper, because that's gonna make a big difference on how everything looks. I don't even know how much of this flower will be seen. I don't know. I might kind of like that. I need to trim the paper. I need to stop myself from trying to add anything else on here and trim the paper. So I'm going to slide all this stuff off. I did take a picture of how I want to put this back together, so it's okay for me to do that. And the other thing that I decided this morning as I was working on things and finishing up editing the video that I just posted this morning, which was a check-in with this guy. So I just previously, before this video, I shared about this journal, but I need my journal. I was looking how much I had ended up working on this video here that we are watching right now, and realized that it had gotten really long, like another really long video for me, which I can't believe how long these last videos have all been. So I'm trying to decide, and I guess we'll find out, because, you know, obviously by the time that you see this I will have figured out what I want to do, but I'm kind of thinking about dividing this one up into two parts and splitting the working on the front apart from the working on the back, since this whole working on the front of this journal was so unplanned, and I'm afraid that by the time that I get finished with this and get this all glued down, that I might have like a 2-hour long video, and that's really long. So I have a feeling I'm going to divide it, but I'm just kind of like getting a rough idea on this. I don't have to have this image going all the way to the edge on here completely, because I like putting duct tape on the edge of my journals just as like a little binding, but it also helps reinforce my journal. So that's what I've done on both of these. So there's probably at least a 1/2 inch of paper here where it doesn't come to the edge. So I think by just trimming it this way it'll be totally fine. And yeah, so I'm just gonna cut this. Now that it's been so long since I've been working on this, I'm actually feeling kind of anxious just to finally get it done. So I need to check myself and slow myself down, because if I get where I am rushing things, then that's when mistakes happen. So I know I want this top part to be seen, all of it, as much as I can, so I'm going to trim this as close to the words as there. And I am saving those little strips of paper, by the way, because those little strips, like these, I keep these in a basket on my work area. And these are the types of little strips that I use to put together pages in my little journal that I have here that I keep on my desk. Excuse me. So this right here is all of these papers are just pieces of scrap paper that we're going to get thrown away from working on other things. So I always keep little stuff like that. Alright, so now this is the right width, and looks like actually and this ledger paper is nice also because it's not super thin. It's a good base to work on for what I'm doing. And I am going to put everything, I'm going to build everything on my page, and then I'm going to take my page and then glue it on top. So instead of gluing this down and then adding everything onto it on top of the journal, I'm going to put everything on here and then glue this all together as one piece onto the front of my journal. Alright, so now I know that this is the exact space that I'm working on. I got all the extra cutoffs. So just for the fun of it, I'm going to put this flower on here and build this up and see if this flower works, because I'm kind of curious now, because I actually kind of like it. So now for sure this is going to be like the final how it's gonna come together. I think I kind of like that flower down there because it just kind of grounds everything. I'm gonna get my cheat sheet out here. Now I just took a picture of outside. I peeked outside my window to see, because I had gotten a text that one of the local businesses was closing early because it was snowing so badly. So I was like, I haven't looked outside like really that much all morning, and so I peeked outside, and I'll post a picture. What it looks like right now, but the snow is really coming down, and I'm not sure how much we're supposed to get. But I'm glad I don't have to go anywhere. I'll just say that. I am in. Last night it's funny because anytime I hear that bad weather's coming, you know, people are rushing to the store to get what they need, and my first concern is, do I have enough coffee and creamer? That is the first place that my brain goes, is I make sure I go to the cupboard and make sure that I've got coffee and creamer to make it through a few days without having to get out, which I know is really silly, but hey. So the problem is, though, is I'm home and I'm doing this, and you know, it's, well, it says that it's 6 out right now, but let's see. The real feel is 13 below, and I don't know if that's completely with the wind chill. So it's cold. It's really cold, and when it's really cold like this, all I want to do is stay inside and drink copious amounts of coffee. Oh gosh. So that's what I've been doing. But it was good to get back to work, to my day job. I'm a lunch lady. I work in the school cafeteria, and it is very, 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 very strenuous work. But I really enjoy it. I like not sitting around. I start getting kind of antsy if I have to sit around. I would never be able to do. People who have jobs where they sit a lot, I am amazed. I don't know how you do it, because I can't. I've got to be up and moving around. So it always feels really good to get back to work and to get moving. Because when I'm home, I'm usually standing here. I stand when I work. I don't sit. So I'm standing here, but I'm not moving like I wish that I was. So I'm not moving to the point that my watch will chime and tell me that it's time for me to stand up, even though like that whole time I've been standing. So all right. Of course, now I can't seem to get that bit. Alright. Trying to cover up this little... It's silly for me to be nitpicking this part to make it look perfect because I'm going to have to undo it to put it all back together, but I just really want to make sure that I see this, how it's going to be, before I start adhering anything down whatsoever. There's a little bit of white here. I have a feeling it won't be seen, but I'm going to cut it off just in case. Okay, let's get this tucked in. I am kind of like having this flower down here in the corner, but then again, it really makes it a lot. Let's do my time, my words. I saved her crown for the last, since when we were doing all this the last time, every time I moved her, her crown decided to flip up, so. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. I wonder if I can slide this off. I'm going to take a picture of this really quick. And also taking a picture, I don't know if I said this before, it also just helps me see it differently. It looks different and finished in a picture than it does sitting here like this. So if I'm looking at something and for some reason it feels off, and I'm self-taught. I haven't had a lick of art classes except, you know, through junior high. I didn't even take any art classes in high school, which completely astounds me. But so I just know how I feel. I don't necessarily know like what's going on and why I feel the way that I do or why it feels off. You know, I'm understanding now more, you know, that it's composition and stuff like that, or maybe colors or whatever. But in my brain, I don't know why I feel that way. I just know that for some reason it feels off to me. And looking at it differently and in a photo, I'm able to see it differently. And sometimes if it feels off here, if I take a picture and look at it, then I can see better or understand better maybe why it doesn't feel right. So I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but that's just how my brain works. It you know, of course I'm seeing the same thing, but it just helps me see it different. A lot of times while I'm working and videoing, I will actually look up into the viewfinder for my camera and look at what I'm doing from that, and it will help me kind of see things to where I might need to change something or move something around. But I also like taking a picture so that I can look at it. But also, for sure, whenever I take this apart and I start putting it back together, I know that this is how I liked it, was in this way. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and slide this out and see. This is going to open up a lot of space over here and create a lot more just white space, which more and more I've gotten to where I really appreciate that. But for my cover, I don't know. I mean, it looks a whole lot different without that big old pink flower going on. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and take another picture here. I mean, it's difficult because I don't know if you can see that well without a glare. Oops. I'm having problems there. So there's with And there's without. I think I kind of like boy, I don't know. I honestly am torn because I kind of like both. This is really, you know, there's a whole lot more going on just by adding that big old flower in the background. But part of me is like, yeah, I should, you know, this is the cover of my journal, so that's okay. Here's the other two. There's my first one, there's my second one. Oh, decisions, decisions. I think I might put it on there. I think I will. What the heck, you know? Okay. All right, I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna think about this. So I need a minute. I need to sit here and just kind of take these two images in and decide. I'm actually really drawn to without, but then again, I really like it. I like that extra bit of pop, the flower behind it. Yeah, I'm gonna do the flower. I'm gonna do the flower behind it. It just makes it feel a little bit more finished than without it. This doesn't feel totally finished. It feels like she's kind of just more, this flower behind it, and how it makes me feel is it makes it feel like it's more grounded. And part of that is probably since the flower goes off the edge of the paper and all of those things, but okay. All right. Thank you for listening as I talked through that. Welcome to my mind. Okay, I'm going to slide these things off, and the next fun thing is just kind of figuring out the order to put things on. And I know this big old flower is going to go on first. I'm going to grab my parchment paper that I used to glue on top of and get my adhesives out and make sure I've got my tweezers, just the tools that I like to use the most. So I'm going to get all that stuff really quick. All right, so I had a little bit of coffee. I got my supplies out. Oh, I forgot the paper. Put my hair back, so I mean business, and we're gonna finally get this all adhered down. So I'm going to push this stuff up here. All right. And I need to protect this surface because I just, this is just a piece of poster board that I had, and it's not, it doesn't have anything on it, so if I don't want to get adhesive on it. Alright. And then for adhesives, I just use Yoo-Hoo for glue sticks. I've got this liquid glue that I have put in these little plastic applicator bottles, which are awesome because it's very super fine point, so I can do really detailed gluing. And I picked this up at Michael's. It works really well. I'm really happy with it. It does dry clear. It dries pretty quickly, which is nice. It does dry clear, but it does have a bit, it's glossy when it dries, so I try to make sure that, you know, I don't get it all over the place, but it's been working really well for my gluing needs. All Alright, I need to put... I just, you know, I like using parchment paper or freezer paper to work on as far as gluing stuff down, because it protects my surface, it protects the things that I'm working in, and you know, and it just works well for me. So that's what I like to use. And I'm going to start with this. I know that one's empty. I need to mark that one so that I know. I'll save this for, I might use this on here. So I think I will. That way I can show you how I get every bit out of those guys. So I'm going to set that one there. I think this one might be empty as well. That it is, and yeah, it's still okay. I go through glue sticks like crazy. Whenever I'm really on a art journaling collage roll, I can really go through the glue sticks. So I do buy these in bulk from Amazon. So I'm gonna go over this really well, and then I know that this guy is like in this corner, so I probably should have done this first. I'm going to put some extra over here. I'm going to go around these edges again just because that's how I roll when it comes to gluing stuff down. I always make sure the edges are really, really good, even though this glue is still really wet. I just like going around it twice, and I've got a cut up piece of an old shirt. This one, I probably should get a different one. We use this one a lot, so it's but I like to, this is so I can just gently smooth things down. And I will say I've got, and I can show you in my journal, in both of my journals there, I have lots of pages that have wrinkles where I wasn't able to get the image down well. And I used to get kind of beat up about it, but I stopped because, you know, it's paper. You're putting a wet adhesive on it, especially with the really thin journal, thin magazine pages. It is so difficult to work with them, and I just didn't want to get myself to the point to where I was obsessing so much about that I wasn't enjoying everything else. So, and you know, and it's my journal, and if it's got wrinkles in it, then that's okay. And you know, that's not like why exactly fully why, you know, I'm doing all of that and working the journal is for it to be perfect and to not, you know, it's the, you know, my joy is by creating and processing things and working through thoughts and emotions and feelings through my journal. So if I spent all that time focusing on you know, that little wrinkle that I had in that magazine, or that, you know, on one of the images that I glued down, it just seems like it would be completely defeating the whole purpose of what I'm trying to do. So I think, but still, you know, I do try to not get wrinkles, but they happen, and that's okay. But just gently, you know, smoothing things down, that helps with getting the wrinkles. And I just try to kind of, with this stuff, I try to kind of work from, you know, the middle out. There was something else I was going to say, and I got distracted because I'm trying to figure out what to put down next. I think I am going to, I want to build this watch up, because this, you know, how she is on here is going to kind of make decide where everything else goes. So I want her hand to be resting on that. So I'm going to I need to move my coffee. I've got... I'm not used to having this extra stuff up here. There we go. I like having my tweezers around just in case I need help holding on to something or moving something around. These things are the best thing ever. I've had these for years and years and years and years, and you can tell, and I love them. Okay, so I'm just going to put adhesive here on her arm and then just on this part of her body where she's going to be on the watch. And got to be careful. This image of this lady is from a catalog, and the catalog actually has decent thickness of paper in it, and so it's been nice to work with, and it can take a little bit more than, say, something from a Vogue magazine or, you know, just something that has really, really fine, not fine, but really thin paper. Better Homes and Gardens, Martha Stewart, you know, any of those magazines, the paper is super, super, super thin. I remember what I was going to say. With magazine images from magazines where the paper is really, really thin, when you're rubbing across it, you have to be extra careful because it is really easy to actually just rub the ink from the top of the paper from that image. So like her, if this was a really, really thin image, I would be extra careful in rubbing on her, because if I like really, really started rubbing, you can actually like start rubbing the ink off, especially if you get a little bit of glue on the outside or something. It just comes right off. So, okay, so she's on there. And I'm going to go ahead and add her wings, because her wings go on top of this rose. And I'm you know, making sure that I don't have any adhesive on here that I'm going to accidentally get it on, you know, on my girl here. So I might do this over to the side. And glue sticks do take a little bit to dry, so I could probably peel this off, actually, if I was careful. It's still very wet. Just want to make sure her wings are even here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put her crown on. There's that little bit there, right here, that needs to be glued down. Okay, where's her crown? Just because this crown's been so silly with everything. This is when these tweezers come in handy. I love giving my girls ring crowns. It's something that I have been doing since I first started art journaling back in 2014, adding rings to give them crowns, jewelry like that, and butterfly wings. Those are, I could probably, if I grab my journal, this is the first one that I did. there we go. So, and once again, I don't have anything dated, but I know that I did this in 2014 because that's when I first started in the journal. So, all right. So now let's see. So next, I've got this big rose here, but I know that I've got this pink rose that goes on first. So let's, and the more and more you have your glue stick open and used, the thicker it gets because, you know, you've had it open and it kind of starts drying out some, and so you really got to be careful when you're rubbing it against your magazine and your images because it will stick and it can tear, especially the really, really, really fine ones. The really thin images. I need my alright, so this is where we're at. So I have all the leaves tucked in behind. I was seeing if I had a leaf that was like maybe there, but I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and put this rose on. So I know that I need to put adhesive just kind of like in this general area. And since it takes a little while for this glue stick to dry sometimes, the other thing you have to be careful about when doing this is sliding your images around that haven't dried yet, because they will move around. Like I can probably move that rose around if I really tried hard. I kind of want some of the center of this one showing. Okay. Alright, so now I know this goes up top, but this is just really going to probably be tucked in. Got this one, and I don't have to like be picking the exact leaves that I had tucked in here, you know, especially these little ones. So the big one, I know I want the big one there. Oops. Well, my finger is sticky now. Okay. And I know I've got one tucked down here. All right. So there's the top half. So now I'm going to work on this bottom. Let's see. I'm gonna be really careful because I've got these little tassels on her shoes, and that's actually the heel of her shoe right there. So, and there have been a million times where I've accidentally torn things off doing this, and I just glue it back on. So, you know, it happens, and hey, that's all right because it just happens. So it is what it is. That's just part of working with paper. It's fragile, so okay. And I scooted this over quite a bit. I had started there, so there's actually quite a bit of adhesive right there. I'm just gonna take my towel, and this is gross, but I literally just like get it wet with my tongue, and I'm gently gonna wipe that glue off while it's still wet. It's with this image, I know it's easy for me to do because this is a really glossy image from my rose book, and so I know that it's okay. If I had done that on this, or for sure a magazine page that's really, really thin like I was talking about, then you just really, really have to be careful because you will rub the ink right off of there. And I could have probably left the glue on there. It's not a big deal, but since it was still wet, and I knew it was there, I went ahead and wiped it off. Alright, so now I've got Leaf under her. Okay, and this one, I think I want that kind of curved up a little bit. You know, I'm gonna cut this one off. We're gonna move it. So there's actually still adhesive, wet glue stick on the back of that. Well, no, there's not. I thought that there was. There is, except in that exact little spot that I needed glue. Okay. I want this to curve up a little bit. And I'm going to put this smaller piece right there. There. It's barely, barely, barely got anything to stick onto back there. I actually might use this other adhesive because it's a bit stronger and it dries quicker and it might hold that better for what I'm needing right now. Alright, let's see here what we got going on. Okay, now, oh, I missed something. I missed this little white flower, this little part of a rose. Okay. Here we are so far. Now, just got this. This one, I kind of want, I think this one's going to be tricky because it's barely going to be hanging on to this watch. I know that some of the words are going to be covered over it, but I for sure want these leaves to wrap around the front of this watch. I'm going to trim this one right here. I'm going to zoom you in. Hold tight. Yeah, this is really going to be fragile. This is going to be on the top of the watch. So is this, and this might be. This one to go under. There we go. Okay, once again, I got glue right there. And this glue I know dries shiny, which isn't that huge of a deal, but all right. And then I'll put a little bit on the back of this, and then I'm going to tack this under. All right. And I really like this glue. It's really great and it works really well, but it does cause this to warp a little bit because it is pretty wet, so I've got to be careful with that. All right, well, there we are with all of that. And I've got this piece, which is going to go up here, and I think I'm just, after I get this down, I'm going to put glue on this and tuck this up here because it's really just going to be kind of sticking out of the top. Sorry. There you go. This right here. I'm going to wait to glue that down. So now I've got this. This is going to be covering over those. All right, that's good. Where's my little bitty piece of a leaf that we got? Just want to make sure that I've got it positioned so I can cover up that word there. Alright, I'm going to go with that. So now this is still wet, so I need to be careful putting glue on it because I can slide this around. I could wait for it to dry, but I'm a little bit too impatient to do that. So just have to be careful. And this is another time when I like using these tweezers because I can keep my hand out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. Which I'm going to put her on here real quick because I want to make sure that I don't get this crooked. Because I feel like I might have the watch off a little bit. All right. No, I'm going to wait for these because these are going to go on top of all this, and I need to glue this down first. I'm kind of wishing I had trimmed the bottom of this off a little bit more. You think I can do it? Oh, for sure. Okay. There's just some space down here that... There we go. Got a little bit here that needs to be glued down. Oop, got that upside down. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom out and we're just about done. Okay. Now the fun part. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set these up here so that I don't lose things, because that happens. And I am going to use my glue stick, and I'm very carefully going to go across the whole back of this. And you need to be mindful of the places where things are adhered together, where there's holes in here, like behind there. When I'm putting glue on there, it's going to go through those holes and seep through to the other side. So I need to be careful of that. Down here, I have to be really gentle because I don't want to tear this because it is really fragile. So I'm just going to kind of start up here on top where it's good and strong. If I'm going to get part of it glued down and glued down well first, I want that to be like this big area, because then after I get it laid down, I can go through and kind of check the edges and make sure all this fancy stuff around the edges is down good. But I'm just really carefully doing this. And like I said, there have been many times when I wasn't as careful as I should have been, and I tear it. But I know that some of the glue is going to go through these edges here, so whenever I'm rubbing it all down, I just want to make sure I pay attention to that. Alright. I think I'm going to put the bottom on first, because that's kind of what's get my towel. I'm going to start in this watch area because that watch is on really thinner paper. Make sure that it's all smooth, and I'm just going to start gently. I mean, I'm putting some pressure down on it, but when I start getting to these really delicate spaces, I'm being more gentle, or I'm just pressing. I'm so excited to be getting this done. And I'm really happy with how it all just kind of came to be. Okay. Kind of got limited space down here at the bottom, so I'm going to trim this a little bit. And I know I said this before, when I first started this next day worth of this, that I'm for sure going to divide this up into two videos. So working on the front and working on the back. So if you haven't watched my working on the back, there's a separate video for that now. And I'll try to explain all that whenever I do my intro to both of them. But this just kind of took over. And there's been a lot to share with it, so. All right. I just need to trim off this little bit. Well, there we go. There we go. Oops, I got that one piece up here. I wonder if this leaf here is not, it's been half cut. See if I can make it look like it's supposed to be that thin. There we go. Alright, now let's get this stuck on my journal. So, here's my new one. And in a previous video, I don't remember which one. I'd actually, when I was, oh, well, it was when I was looking for images to go on the back of the journal that I just finished. Spoiler, if you haven't watched the back, this is all that I ended up doing to the back, was put that on it, but then I also fixed the back of this one because it had a part that was torn. So these are ones that I found while I was looking through my images that I was really drawn to, and kind of started actually seeing pages kind of try to come together to start in this. So I went ahead and took them out and slipped them in this journal so that I've got them. So I'm going to put a piece of this parchment paper inside my journal to protect the pages. This is dry because I want to protect everything behind here. And I'm just going to do the same, pretty much the same thing. Oh, I was going to use these. So this is what I do when I've got these glue sticks that you can't, you know, rub anything else up in. That you can't, you know, there's nothing left of the stick part. So let's see, okay, so I got a plastic scraper here, and then I've got this, I can't even begin to tell you what it is or where it came from, but it's basically like this wooden stick thing, but it fits in here perfect. So I think what I'm going to do first, because I know this is going to dry pretty quick because it's old, I'm going to go across all of this one. Really well. Then I'm going to basically scoop this out. This one's a lot older, so this is me just not being able to not get the most out of my stuff. But that's quite a bit of adhesive in there. I mean, look at all that. That's a lot. So I just went through and got all that out from the inside. Oops, of both of those. And I'm going to take my scraper here and I'm going to spread it out. And just make sure it's as smooth as I can get it. I wouldn't recommend doing this if you're putting down a really fine or a really thin magazine page, because it's kind of difficult to get this super flat, because it's part of that was really thick. But I basically just covered all of that. Spread it out, it's like spackle. Put a bit down there. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and make sure the edges are down good, because that's where, if it's going to start peeling, it's going to be on the edges, and I don't want that. I'm going to go back over to this one, even though it is still very wet. I'm going to go over it again around the edges. And now it's ready. So I'm going to start on this end. Well, no, let's start on this end, because this end's going to get covered with tape. This is the end that I want to make sure I've got. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm actually able to slide this around to make sure that I get it even on the edges. So now I'm going to take my towel. Where did my towel? There, I take my towel, and I'm going to just start pressing it and laying it flat. This helps to keep you from getting a big wrinkle in it. There's for sure going to be a little bit here on the edge that I'm going to have to trim off, and I am going to wait until this is completely dry to do that. There's a wrinkle there, but I think it's more in her not being glued down. It is. She's not glued down all the way. I'm going to remove this because there's a bunch of glue down here on the bottom, and I don't want to get that on the inside. Well, I'm going to flip it. There we go. Just do that. Okay, there's that little bit of a buckle. Let's see if I can... hopefully get that smoothed out. Yeah, I totally missed that. I want to be careful because I don't want to accidentally like rub the ink off. This is up a little bit. Well, all right, that's up. And I know this is going to take some wear and tear because, you know, I'm going to be opening it and closing it and taking it with me places, and that's okay. My other one, you can definitely tell that it's been around the block a few times, so that's just how it is, which gives it character. It's just like your, you know, if you've got your, like your Midori, your traveler's notebook, having your leather get kind of scuffed up and gives it character. All right, well, there we go. There she is. That is the cover of my next collage journal. Let me get my other ones out. Tidy up a little bit here real quick so I can lay them out. There's some adhesive right there. Well, I wonder if I should go ahead and put this on. I guess so. There's nothing stopping me, and I usually wait to put the back cover on just because the back will get dirty. The back gets dirty. I don't know. Well, if you watch the video of me covering the back, you can see how the back is dirty. It just gets dirt and all sorts of stuff on it from me setting it on different things and taking it places and things like that. So I've just kind of I just gotten to where I just wait and do the back at the end. So I don't know if that's exactly where I want it. No, let's move it over a little bit. It's covering up some of my stuff down here, but that's okay. Winter storm warning. Oh, goodness sakes, you guys, it's not ending for us. We're back under a warning. If we ever were out of a warning, I honestly don't know. We are really getting it. It's it feels like about every few years we just have one crazy winter, and I guess this is our winter for craziness, because past few winters we've had snow here and there, and we've had like bitterly cold temperatures, but we have not had the amount of snow that we've been getting here this past couple of days. Well, this week. They're actually already talking about the possibility, well, we don't have school on Monday because it's Martin Luther King Day, and they're talking about maybe not even being able to have school on Tuesday, because by Tuesday we are in dangerously, dangerously, dangerously cold wind chills. That's when they're talking about it being the wind with the real feel outside with wind chill being 50, 60 below zero, and they cannot have school on those days because there's kids who have to wait outside for the bus, and that just would not be safe. So just trimming this off. On this one, I want to make sure I don't trim off my little ties here at the bottom where I had bound it, because I like having those hanging out. That's just the way that I am. Alrighty, there we go. That took a really long time. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there's that one. Well, here's my first collage journal, here's my second, and now here's my third. So there we go. Alright, well, thank you for being here and going on this adventure with me as I did the page to my next journal, and I can't believe that I'm sitting here looking at this and that I'm getting ready to start a third. So it's actually really it's pretty cool. Yeah, these journals really mean a lot to me, and I definitely put a whole lot of everything in me in them. So just to see that I'm getting ready to start a new one is pretty darn exciting. So I'll probably, after we're done, I'll trim that off. It's just a little bit over the edge on the top. But yeah, alright, well, I'm gonna go and get started on my next projects. I've got a couple of pages that I had started a while ago in my Nomad book that I had started. I had even started, I started videos for, and I discovered those videos the other day while I was working on these new things that I've been sharing, and I think that's what I'm going to do next is finish these up. So I'm working on that, and then I'm also been working in my Fields of Dreams book and getting ready to do the next layer of that, which I'm going to start adding some of these florals and some of these people. So busy. Got lots to do and got snow days to do it. So I'm really wanting to take advantage of my time that I've got at home. So thank you for being here, and hope you enjoyed this, and please let me know how you're doing, what you think. If you're not a subscriber, I would absolutely love for you to subscribe to my channel. Be sure to click the bell so that you get notifications, and take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay warm, and I hope that you had a really wonderful new year, and I will be talking to you all again really soon. Love you so much. Thank you again. Bye-bye.